You're listening to the Out of the Box podcast with Timmy, Halisa, and Sinosure.
Welcome back to another episode of Out of the Box. I'm Halisa, the Sinosure, and to me like always. Today we would so we're here today to talk about poverty alleviation. Anyways, not really, but we're here to talk about the new policy that has been kind of passed. So we want to talk about subsidy, but not really subsidy. We want to talk about palliative, actually palliative. So I keep on using those words like interchangeably, almost like intentionally, but anyways, palliative. We're trying to talk about palliative, the one that has been, approved, So let's talk about what's going on now in our country. So, guys.
Yes, so yes. It's been a very sad week for me, honestly. Like the past 1 week, I've been very unhappy about the situation of the country, and it's been crazy for me. Yesterday, I was, I was very sad. The things that are actually going on in Nigeria at this particular point in time, it just breaks my heart. Like, to see that we are still here even after like all of these years, and in a time when we should be, ahead, right? We're talking about, giving people 8K palliatives, and that is what the federal government. I think we had a conversation. We had one of our spaces about fuel subsidy removal. Did we? Yes. Yeah, we had a podcast about it, right?
I will not. Yeah.
Why are you guys not responding? Are you searching for 8K palliative, or why is the morale down?
It's been a tough time, particularly listening to Nigerians lament on the streets, listening as well to those who are complicit in this whole charade, still having a voice, particularly with regards to defending it. It's just so underwhelming. Yeah, the kind of energy that is out there, and mind you, no matter what we say, this has gone already to the National Assembly. And I guess it's also a wake-up call for every one of us that we might need to shine our eye more when it comes to matters pertaining to our politicians in Nigeria. They did this in such a way that you didn't even know that anything was going on, pardon me. And here we are today. So it's really been a tough week.
I mean, it's
really tough
like
week.
Almost really sad. But it's like before I used to be angry, to just get to a point where this law of diminishing return, right? Where you're like the anger, and then you just get to a point where even though more annoying things are piling up, you just cannot even get angry again. So I feel like that's where I'm at this week. And yeah, so in case you don't know what we are talking about, we're basically talking about the God, if you're in Nigeria, there's no way you don't even know what we are talking about. But just in case you don't know what we're talking about,
God.
They said let's not start from the 70 billion. Let's just go. Basically, there's supposed to be around 800 billion that was released through the World Bank, for Nigeria to use to cushion the effect of removing
800
million, right? Not billion. Those things I'll be flipping like it's like small change. It's just a few zeros.
Who want that shit?
So is it million or billion? Are we talking dollars or we're talking Naira?
Million. I think it's $800 million. Sinosure, all right?
Yeah. So if it's Naira, okay. Go on.
It's about $800 million.
Yeah, so dollars. So yeah, Naira. So okay, right. From the $800 million, now we have 500 million assigned to Nigerian people, and then the remaining there's a lot of other miscellaneous in quotes expenses. But the most important.
This conversation is in billions. So.
Exactly, it's in billions, right? But the billion is when it's Naira that we're talking billions, or it's in billions when we're talking Naira. So maybe Rotimi was talking like USD.
If you say 800 million US dollars, yeah, you are literally saying, assuming it's 700 naira per naira, you are literally saying about 560 billion. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah.
So
So I mean, it is just the case that we should just look at the Naira value so it will make more sense to our listeners.
yeah, because me too, what I got from some Nigerian article, I think they were using Naira there. So they just like, state how the 800 billion was like shared. Yeah, it's here this is a legitimate article from a Nigerian source. So it says 819.5 billion naira, supplementary budget was requested from through the National Assembly. So basically through that amount they said they allocated 500 billion to Nigerians for as palliative, and others they said they allocated it to to the lawmakers, to new lawmakers, to also support them. So, but what all Nigerians have been talking about basically is the one that affects the masses, right? The 500 billion, which after breaking it down, it turns out that they have to provide 8,000 naira to households that are the poorest of the poor. Yeah, that's the new fancy phrase in town, the poorest of the poor. So they are supposed to provide 8,000 naira to some households, and it ends up that it's going to be 12 million households that will be able to receive this for a few months. So there's been this heated debate around if this amount is okay, if this is what we should be doing, if we should not be using this money to do other things that would actually serve the people instead of giving cash, because maybe there have been instances in the past where cash did not exactly work. So yeah, that's what's happening right now. Basically the government wants to give money to support people. Well, some people are arguing that this is not the right way to go, and other people think that it's a perfect policy, which is pretty surprising at this point. But yeah, go ahead please, you guys can go ahead. Just needed to give that background.
To me, right, this really speaks to, once again, like the cluelessness of Nigerian leaders. Again, I'm glad that a whole lot of people are now saying that fuel subsidies, because the conversation around fuel subsidy was before was that it only it's only going to affect the rich, it's not going to affect the poor. The poor don't benefit from this, only rich people. But I'm happy that you can hear the conversations that are going out, the conversations on the streets, conversations like everywhere. Everyone has now, a lot of people, except for those who just want to be silly, keep it to continually defend this failure of the government, that will come out and tell you that it's a good thing. It is even affecting them. It's affecting everyone. In Nigeria has been touched by these policies, and the saving grace of the government.
Say, do to me, calm down now. The government is a baby. Is a tata baby, just crawling. Only 2 months, baby. After is a failure. You have not seen the policy. Allow the policy to be rolled out and it to work first. Then you now go and meet your National Assembly member or your constituency member, and then you hold that person accountable.
The councillor of your ward. You need to meet the councillor accountable. Your councillor accountable. You hold your local government chairman accountable.
The sophistication that has come into this conversation now. Go and hold World Bank accountable.
Yeah. Is that what it is right now?
Yeah. And you need to know what the guy at the top accountable. You go through the corners.
Clownish,
Yeah, this is a level of sophistication. No, really, like now you have to go and hold World Bank accountable.
For me, right? It just speaks to how unprepared people are before coming into power. I think many of them don't really understand it's everything that we have been saying is what is now like everything that I've been saying is what is playing out right now. You're claiming that you want to give you want to do a palliative and you want to give 8,000 naira to people. I'm like, who, like 8,000 naira? 8,000 naira. And that money is going to be 8,000 naira to a family that maybe has like 3 people, minimum of 3, or at least each Nigerian family will be about 4 people, right, in every Nigerian family. So which means that every person is getting approximately like 15 naira per day. I wonder, like, even 8,000 naira cannot even make a good pot of soup right now. Cannot even, it can't. Maybe if you're going to spend that, by the time you spend like 5,000, 6,000 for the family, it's you are left with maybe just 1,000 naira or 1,500 naira change. If that is even, if it's not too small. And it's funny to me that people are saying, oh, it's a good thing. This 500 billion that the government wants to spend on 12 million families, they have the audacity to also tell us that they're going to be spending 70 billion on just 306 individuals in the National Assembly that is made up of APC, PDP, even the Labour Party that claims that is the one that they're the ones that want to change Nigeria. What's that their slogan again? What's their slogan again?
It's quite sad when I try to think through what might be going through the mind of an average Nigerian politician. It's sad what I actually tend to get, especially when you measure their action against their demeanor when you meet them in public spaces. I need to put this out there. I think the idea of 8,000, right, is a way for the government, right, who have over the years pummeled the Nigerian people, who have over the years trampled on the Nigerian people, who have over the year mashed the Nigerian people. I think the idea of this 8,000 is just to see, oh, how much have we dealt with you? Let us see. More or less like, oh, a snake beat another animal, and that snake decided to withdraw and stand aloof for a moment to see how that animal will react to the poison, to the venom, right? So if the animal does not die, it comes back and say, pa, again, in a much more strategic at a much more strategic point, so that maybe the animal will now fall off and die off at that point in time. Maybe it's a python now. Python doesn't bite that way, let's be clear. It's now looking for a way to swallow it. That's what I see with the Nigerian state. It seems like the Nigerian government often just come once in a while and say, okay, take this 5,000. Oh, take this 8,000. Oh, take this 10,000 to know maybe you will collect it. Maybe you never reach the level of suffering where they want to make you day. So, when it's now time and they come to you and they say, okay, take this 8,000. And you said, no, 8,000 is too cheap for us. We don't want it. We decide better. Oh, what will 8,000 amount to? And then they come back later, right? About after 4 years, and they offered 5,000. When they offered 5,000, you collect it, they're like, okay, it makes sense. We have them where we want them to be now. It seems like that's what is going on to me. And the more I look at this, the more saddening it becomes. And let me tell you another thing. And I think it's also very important, right? I was listening to one of our brothers speak earlier. And from the conversation, I found something germane. And when I say germane, it is in the fact that, okay, this brother was analyzing and saying, okay, when they said, oh, we can no longer do defined benefit scheme in the pension industry, they brought the idea of the contributory pension scheme. Oh, till today, what are they doing for politicians? Defined benefits. What about other workers in the economy? Contributory pension scheme. He spoke about a whole lot of things.
So the politicians are always getting away with, like, I don't understand. And Sinoshaw, what's really funny to me is always the reaction of the Nigerian people. They are always like, it's almost like they feel like they are second class citizens in their own country, that just a tiny group, a very tiny group, deserve the best, but they don't really deserve the best. Because to be honest, I know Nigerians. If Nigerians want to stand up for themselves, they don't even need you to lead them. If they want to stand up for themselves, they would go out there and stand up. We know how Nigerians can be now. When you bash the car of a Nigerian, you know how they will come out. But it just seems that there is this class, and in this class, this political class and ruling class, they almost I wouldn't even say they almost, most of them even agree that these people should be treated better than them. Because when you talk about like the benefits that just a tiny bunch of people are getting, look at what's going on in the National Assembly. 70 billion for just 306 individuals, and 500 billion for 12 million families. So we will multiply that by 4. That should be 48 million individuals are going to share 500 billion. And you want just 306, about 300 plus individuals to go home with 70 billion. I mean, like, is there something like, are you, because what I really want to understand, I want to understand where you guys are at mentally with the Nigerian people. Side show. Are you still, in last conversations that we had, you were saying you don't want to blame the victims. Are you still there mentally, or what are you thinking, Side show?
For me, really, I wouldn't be in a place to blame the victim. Right? Of course.
Okay. Yeah, no, you're there.
No. The point is, there is this illusion that the Nigerian ruling class have created, and that is in the fact that they put the door is locked, right, against anyone who might want to come into that class, particularly to demystify them. But they now put a curtain at the front of that door with the intention of saying, okay, when you look at that curtain, the curtain is designed in such a way like, oh, there's a way in. No, there's no way in. So the point is, some people are complicit, no doubt. When I say complicit now, I mean the people that enables them, all of these things. But the point is, the overwhelming majority, right? Some people, some amongst them, they have spoken up in the past, and what they got is complete battering. Proper battering. Hope 1993, proper battering. Some have spoken up, even in the times of Ali Must Go. What they got is a contradiction from the state. Some have spoken up doing NSAS. What they got was proper battering as well. They even killed most of them. But the point is, are we going to blame those people if they decide to just be an onlooker? Some people don't even know better, because we have a religious setting that teaches you that when
a lot of people don't know better. A lot, like Show, what I'm seeing right now in the Nigerian states, so many Nigerians don't know anything. So we cannot even afford to stop speaking.
You see, we were talking, there was this conversation that I've heard, and when that brother was breaking it down, like I said earlier, it started from the defined benefit and contributory pension scheme. It went as far as salaries discussion. Whenever it's time to increase the salaries of the ordinary Nigerian people, you get this feedback like, oh, it's going to cause inflation. And then when it is immediately you just look away from there, you see the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Committee starting up something to increase salaries of political office holders. One. Secondly, you start getting a lot of bonuses in the house. Oh, bonus for being a member of this committee, incentive for being a member of that committee. And meanwhile, you guys are earning very well within the context of the Nigerian state. And another thing, right, that is also worthy of note, right, is that I have always said this anyways, and I would like our listeners to hear it from me once again, which is the fact that any country, or let me say any environment, or any society, as the case may be, where the politicians are the richest, or where the politicians to their stooge are the richest, the people they give monopoly and all of these things, any setting where you see such thing being obtainable, you literally are seeing a setting where efficiency is not prioritized. You are literally seeing an environment, right, where corruption is the order of the day. Politicians should not be the richest people in the society. They should not be. So politicians are almost richer than their state. And I am worried, right?
They are richer than their states and other states, because we've had scenarios of even the current president when he went to
told them like, which kind of money you think you're gonna get? You know, that kind of thing. I have.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
it literally was saying
honestly,
that.
like, with the things that what Nigerian politicians, what they go away with, right? What the kind of things that they are able to say and go away with, I mean, like, it's so crazy. Like, you won't get away with one quarter of that or 1/10 of that in any sane climb, right? So it's crazy.
No, when you say sane climb, are you trying to say we are insane? Yeah? I am sane, man.
Oh Lord,
Alisa,
Alisa, where are you like mentally, like with the Nigerian states right now? With what you've seen, where are you, Because I really need to check up on my people. Like, where are you right now?
I already told you that I'm not even angry because it's like I wasn't even shocked, right? Because we spoke, like you said, Drew, to me. Yeah, we did speak about it like bits and pieces before when we're talking about subsidy and like all these things. That yeah, like Buhari has like gotten like 800 billion. So it's not a shocking thing, but it's like it's like we know these things, right? We've seen the pattern for a very long time and we say, okay, these things are going to happen. But you literally, it's like you're begging in your heart, like, please prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, because you proving me wrong, like make me so wrong, because that's for the benefit of the Nigerian people. Like, I want you to make me so wrong. Like, I want to kneel down and say, oh my God, I was so wrong and I want to be so wrong, But when you see all of these things that you're saying or that coming again, like coming up, and you're like, yeah, we actually saw, we knew this was going to happen. Maybe not in this brass manner, but we knew this was going to happen, and it's not a good feeling at all. Like, it's not.
You know, you know what, like I love what you said, because a lot of people think that when some people are speaking and they're being critical about some of these policies that would affect, that are these anti-people policies, they think that we want, you even hear a lot of people gaslighting you and telling you that, oh, you want the country to fail, you just want the country. No, like I want to say, like you said, like I would say, oh, I'm sorry, I made that mistake. Like, no, this guy is good, and
Yeah, like we have 24 hours electricity, like in the next year, like we have like people actually living better standards of, like, people have housing, people are getting more jobs. Like, we want to see that happen like next year, like tomorrow. I want to see that happen like tomorrow. So I'll be sorry, to even predict that this is going to happen.
But you know what this does? You know what this does to us? It gives you more confidence, because sometimes when you have like some of the opinions, and I'm sure that's why this called out of the box, because some of our opinions that we share are not like the typical opinions or the popular opinions that are out there about the Nigerian political space and everything, right? But when you are consistently right, like, it gives you this set of confidence. Like, when you just imagine you having a conversation with people, and people that are educated are telling you that it's only the poor, that only the rich that benefit subsidies, and they take out the subsidies, and they have actually, that people can actually see the effect on the society. It gives you this confidence to, like, I don't know if it happens to you guys, but it gives me this confidence to want to speak more and say, yeah, I'm right, like I'm right, like these are things that we said before, right?
It gives me sadness, because all I want to do is be in a position where every bad prediction that I made about my country doesn't come to pass. Because see, a lot of the people we are dealing with, they are sick upstairs, right? And you don't need to be enrolled in a psychiatric hospital before you are sick, or before you are identified to be sick, because it takes a sick person to sabotage the interest of the majority because he wants to satisfy his greed. It takes a sick person, because some of us, we're in places whereby we see other people around us and we're like, oh my God, I could have done, this person could have, this could have, that could have. You're literally just looking at it and saying, oh, this could have been the case, that could have been the case, or it could be better. Why? These resources, these stats they are collecting, it could be going into this, it could be going into that. And then there are a set of people like who said, oh, I give them 1,000. I saw this person, oh, vulnerable, I give them 1,000. I said, yo, this is not the point. You can indeed support people. But for people to be supported, to be able to meet their essential needs, something is wrong. People should be able to feed in any society. People should have houses over their head in any society. And you see one thing, that's why I don't even agree that US, UK are a saint society. If you are an ideal society, right, we can say that is utopia. But a realistic society is a society where everyone's interest is secured, where people have social security. You get? So when you now look at all of these vis-a-vis the kind of resources we have and how we have not been able to obtain any kind of decency for our people, any kind of dignity for our people, You know where we
Yeah, but Sino, so you know what's crazy about these things? Yes, I don't think anyone would agree would come out and be preaching the US and the UK as as like the ideal societies that we should aspire to be like, because they've actually made a lot of mistakes, and we can see it's currently affecting them. But even in that insanity, it's still more sane than what we have. So there's a problem. It's just like when we're having this conversation about socialism and everything, right? Even amongst like even a country like America that is extremely capitalist or whatsoever, they still have more social intervention than that we are claiming that where we don't really know where we stand or whatsoever, right? So it's amazing,
and this
really.
thing,
It's
with
amazing.
this all
Yeah.
this like America that is capitalist is very different, because America is the peak of where the capital is. So it's like any money they are making is returning to the economy, right? So I don't know why we even like bring America to even discuss capitalism, which I know it's like mind blowing, because it would just be like, okay, but America, like the capital is there. It's like the more the capital, like their currency is the top currency. So you can't even be using America capitalism and be talking about it when you're talking about another country's capitalism. Because even if we want to practice share capitalism, right, in Nigeria, we probably will be relying on some multinational, some big guys' money somewhere else, and we'll be returning it to the economy. That I don't. Well, it's just the whole thing that we can't even be talking about America in the same light, because if America is practicing capitalism, they are not taking their wealth somewhere else again. It's different from some African countries that have to take out their wealth and go and put it in some French bank or some Swiss bank, or like it's very different from us too. That it's like a different terrain. We are not playing the same game at all. So sometimes when they're even talking about this thing is different, because in America, if their industry is booming, they are going to be employing their people. It's very different. We are not at the peak of any capital, so we cannot even like say the biggest player with capital should come into our economy and play and get all of this thing, because it wouldn't be Nigerian
I
nationals.
was gonna ask, which exact country subject its citizen in a world that's a proper country, that standard of living is fine? Which of those countries? Oh, that doesn't also have the advantage of currency hegemony. Practices
Yeah,
capitalism when
that's
it
the
comes.
word. Currency hegemony. Yeah, go on, go on.
So no, we are in the abyss, so to put, abyss, like some people would say, in a ditch, and we are in such a place where we should be building people to build our society. Like building people. Okay, let me use that analogy of a ditch. Yeah, we're in a ditch, and then we have ourselves alone out to get out of that ditch. Now we don't have a ladder, right? Because we do not have enough trees in that ditch to build a ladder. Now, for us to get out of that place, we need to find a way to cultivate that land. We need to find a way to teach ourselves how to cultivate cultivate the land, eat well, be strong enough, and ensure that we get out of that ditch before the next rainy season. Before, if the rain should catch us there, right, it's going to just drown us. Now, what the Nigerian state is doing is that soil, Nigerian state is cultivating it, teaching people how to cultivate it, not even at optimal level anyways. That we are having issues with seedling. And then the Nigerian state is taking everything they get out of from that dish and throwing it up. Right? So when they throw it up, the proceeds they get from there, they get ladder that can only fit for one person. So one politician climbs it up and go. When it's gotten to the top, he removes the ladder, and rainy season is coming. So what we have is the few politicians that are close, right? They are now thinking to themselves, okay, I need to get myself out of here as well. So it now became the survivor of the fittest. But what we could have easily done is empower everyone, right? Get those material that they used to make the ladder that those guys used to escape the ditch. Train more people to make those kind of ladder with those material, so that all of us can get the ladder with which we will exit this ditch. So now, my point is, have we done that? No, we've not. we've literally, right, made individuals that are strong, that are feeding well. And like I was saying earlier, remove subsidy for the Nigerian people. Will Bola Ahmed Tinubu pay for fuel? Will Senator Godswill Akpabio pay for fuel? Will who's the speaker? Idris Abi? I think it's Idris was yeah. Will he pay for fuel?
You know the funny thing, many of these individuals have never
170 convoy.
Many of these individuals, these people are so distant from the people in such a way that many of them have not paid for anything for themselves for the past maybe 10, 15 years. Many of them have been living on the nation. So they are so detached from, and that's why someone will feel like giving you, because I want us to like come to this 8K palliative. That's why someone will feel like you are giving 8K palliative. And you know what they are, and I don't know if you guys have observed, but this is what they are currently doing. What you're currently doing is to say that, we are doing this for the poorest of the poor. They did this thing with the subsidy fee, with the student loan stuff. And if you observe, right, that who qualifies for this? Who exactly is qualifying for this? Because will you say that I keep on saying this thing, the Okada rider, the bike rider, the bus driver, would you say that these people are not the poorest of the poor in our society? Right? Like, and what can 8K really do for them? We have a population of frustrated people. You enter an Uber in Nigeria, the guy is telling you about his life problem. He's telling you that he graduated with this degree, he graduated with that degree, but look at him today. We have a massive problem of a lot of frustrated citizens. But some way, somehow, they manage to, which is why I always give Nigerians, I would never, there are some places where I blame them, in terms of political choices and everything. But in terms of like hard work, in terms of sustaining themselves, in terms of being able to put themselves together to create a better life for themselves and not rely on the government, I give it to Nigerians. I think Nigerians are the most resilient people on the planet, and everyone can attest to that fact, because the conditions of living in Nigeria, if we actually had those similar conditions in other countries, look at Kenya. Kenya is actually protesting because a new tax was introduced. They can literally introduce new taxes in Nigeria. They can literally raise the price of anything, any commodity in Nigeria. They can times 100. And the worst that Nigerians will do is that they will not patronize that thing again. They will just keep quiet. So we are some of the most resilient people, and the politicians are detached. 8K palliative does not help anybody in this country. The people that you think that if you say those people are the poorest of the poorest, and is it that they don't go? And I was suggesting that those 500 billion, it could be used to get up to 40,000 buses from China or from Nigeria. It could be used to, Sin Motors and what. It could be used to get those buses, and it could be distributed across all of the states. The only for me, when it comes to this, trying to cushion the effect of subsidy removal or whatever, the only way it's going to make sense is you look for another sector which Nigerians have no choice but to patronize, right? Like education, or you look at any power to homes and businesses and everything, or you look at something like transportation, things that they cannot, the basics, and you try and take that money and put into that sector. So if we had actually had the government, buying 40,000 buses and distributing 1,000 buses to each state, and I said again, Lagos can get the extra buses and everything because of the population and everything, right? That would, and you can now subsidize, because this 500 billion is still a giveaway. It's like a giveaway. So there's no need for the transportation companies to have to recoup the cost of purchasing those vehicles, right? It's just business from day one, subsidized rates, because nobody is, most of those downfall drivers, they get their boss and they are still paying somebody, they are paying one microfinance or somebody that had the capital to purchase those vehicles, and they are working for the person for a couple of years before they can retain ownership of the vehicle or save enough money to go and buy theirs. So now, if the cost of purchase of these vehicles is taken away, this thing can be brought down, and transportation would be subsidized, or be lesser for people across the country, because the price of transportation has spiked and nobody's talking about it, and it's very frustrating, because everything is up in the country, but the government doesn't seem to care. And now they're telling us, some of the supporters of the government are telling us, okay, we're going to have another one that is not going to be for you guys. We'll have another one that is like, this one is not for you. This one is for the poorest of the poor. The people that will get this, we don't know their account number. They are saying they don't have data. How many politicians have we elected since 2006? That could not have worked with the census data? They don't have records of births. Is that they don't have records of births? They don't have records of deaths? Because is that not how you do plus and minus and know what population you have? They don't have local government chairmen, don't know how many people in their local government. They don't know the poor in their local government. They don't know the rich in their local government. So what are we actually doing? Why are we actually paying these guys money and they're not able to do anything for themselves, for the people of Nigeria? We've had state governors. The state governors don't know their people. The local government chairmen don't know their people. The ward councillors don't know their people. I mean, this is crazy. So it is so sad that we are this. What can 8,000 naira buy for anyone? What can 8,000 naira do? Can you get that money and say, oh, I'm not going to work for one day? You can't give 8,000 naira to an individual. In fact, all this is these kids videos that people do, and they give people money and they dash them money and they tell them to go back home. Even if you dash someone that is selling pure water 8,000, I tell them go back home, they will tell you thank you. They will pretend like they've gone back home. They will go and buy more water to come and sell, because it doesn't solve any problem. And giving this monetary handouts to just keep people quiet. And some people have even alleged that it is alleging that this is to buy votes, because this is the same thing that the ruling party did with trader money, to give to market women to purchase votes. So I don't understand this idea. I think it's a crappy idea. I think that this money, together with the one I put up this post on Twitter, and this is where I know that a lot of Nigerians, don't know anything. And I was getting all sorts of funny comments, like, people were telling me that, if they buy the buses, what about the roads? What about, I'm like, aren't these things that are supposed to have been done? Aren't cars running on the roads now? The downfall, are they flying? Like the buses that are currently, are they flying? And that's 70 billion, even the 70 billion. If you know what this money we're talking about is in billions. If you know what this money can do, if you know how many primary healthcare centers that these things can build, if you know how many schools that this thing can impact, if you know how many facilities, if you know how many entrepreneurs that this thing can help. If this money is given to entrepreneurs, it was because like the small and medium scale businesses in Nigeria is the engine of this economy. It is those small people that would be able to employ 10, 15 people, 20 people, even 5 people, even 2 people, that are preventing Nigeria from going into a crisis. Because imagine the government has to provide jobs for everybody. Even big banks, I'm telling you that banks don't even employ the amount of people that they are able to employ by the virtue of the money that they make. They don't employ enough people, right? You go to most banks, you see that most of them are understaffed and they don't really care. It is those small businesses that are giving people jobs. It is that small makeup artist by the roadside that is able to take on 1, 2, 3 girls and train them for free. It is that small photography shop that is able to take 1, 2, 3 people and train them for free. That is what is preventing this country from collapsing. Because even people that have read engineering in school will still come out and there's no job for them, and they have to go and pick up one skill or the other. So it is crazy, and I don't understand the direction.
Do you know, like the thing is, how many new lawmakers do we have? Say 300 and how many did you say? It was in 90.
We have 306.
306.
I think 306.
Oh, 360.
No, not new.
I'm talking about the newly joined ones, right? They're the ones
that just
70
the JJC.
billion. Yeah, but the thing is, these people, each one of them is eligible to more than 100 million from that 70 billion. Like a whole more, like 100 and like, I don't know this thing off the top of my head, but I'm just saying the ratio of what one person is to the ratio of what like one person, like you said now, like let's say 1,000. 8,000 a month, and then someone else is getting from that same this thing 100 million. It's like, wow, how is this human being life much more important than this other human being life? So that just brings me to a point that someone was trying to make, that the state is actually functioning for the people that it's supposed to function for. It's functioning for this ruling class. It's functioning for these people. And that's why nobody is speaking up. That's why for me, there are sometimes I'll just look at this, like, if you side with the oppressor, it's very hard for me to to stand with you. But then you are going to earn, I think, even at least 150 million from this. And then someone else that's directly a Nigerian citizen, as you are, is going to be earning 8K from that same plan. Like, God bless my heart, because my mind is not able to fathom. Like, this is just too much for me to understand. Like, well, I guess at the end of the day, it just brings me to the answer that, yeah, like, one person is much more important than another person, and this person is going to sit in a well air conditioned room pretending like they are doing something, and have they even had any NAS session yet? I think they've had one, right? For the whole time, more than a month. So you literally are not doing anything. You're not doing anything. But you are going to get a new Lexus, right? They said you're going to get like million as opposed to someone else in Nigeria. And this 8K is not even for everybody. It's for like 12 million Nigerians. That's what we've heard now, and they are trying to give all of this like information as, okay, it's a scheme to collect data or blah blah blah. You don't have data, Wait, 8K, yeah, 8K, any Nigerian you give 8K to in this current day and age will be happy. But what would that 8K do? Maybe a meal, maybe 2, maybe 3. Maybe some people might be able to use it a week. So the people that will be able to use 8K a month maybe are people that are into subsistence agriculture or something like that, that in very local. Because you will be so surprised that in this Nigeria, there are some people in like villages that they don't even have like supermarket or anything. That means they will not even spend. So they will literally just go to the back of their house, dig up potatoes, dig up something, and, cook. Maybe those people will now like use that 8K to buy palm oil to subsidize or something. But those kind of people, I don't like kind. Okay. Those people would not have a bank account. So, and I'm hearing that this scheme is to bring them on bank, or like to make sure they don't give them the money via cash or something like that. How is it going to work? There's so much mismatch that makes you to think that, okay, it seems like a corruption, the smear kind of thing, right? So this is a place that we found ourselves as a country. But Sinosha mentioned something I wanted to quickly touch on, because when he made that analogy of drainage or like rain and all that, I wanted to say agriculture. They just wanted to bring in agriculture here because they budgeted some billions to agriculture because there was flooding previous years. The last year, right, there was flooding. So the money that they budgeted for agriculture for this whole country is 19.2 billion. 19.2 billion. So it's not even up to, it's not even up to how many percent of the amount, like in general. That's what they budgeted for agriculture for the whole country. So that is, in fact, a mind-blowing expense on its own. But the other thing that is even more mind-boggling, because when you put it side by side, is the amount they budgeted to the National Judicial Council. That's 35 billion. So the money they budgeted for agriculture is not even near the money they budgeted to National Judicial Council. And what is National Judicial Council, and why are they budgeting 35 billion naira to National Judicial Council at this point in time? So there's just so many questions that you can ask from the budgeting that went into the amount that was rolled in through the World Bank. I was thinking that there was no need for any signature, but because I was thinking it was a grant in the beginning. I think one of our podcasts that was even mentioning it as a grant. Maybe it was on a space or something. I wasn't thinking it was a loan. So this is a loan. Is not even a grant, because I was asking at first, why do they have to get signed or get approval from the legislature and all of that? So yeah, it's apparently a loan, more money to pay back. And yeah, let me ask you one question, Sainusha. I want you to take this question. A lot of people are seeing this, and maybe when they hear your take or like some of our takes on this, they might be asking, I thought you are pro giveaway, because that's what they are looking at, should I say, socialism as. So how would you like to address, in like someone that would think that you are pro giveaway in quote, and this is not looking like this is supposed to be looking like socialism, but obviously it's not. You might want to argue, or from what I've heard, it's not exactly socialism. I'm doing quote unquote here.
Socialism, socialism is not celebrating people's misery. And I do not understand where those people got the idea that it's socialism to give trader money, to give all this money that's annoying, right? You know what I would say to you, right? If you want to say socialism, like Edith put it, and I would like to re-emphasize that, it's giving the people the voice, allowing them the room, giving them access, right, to decide their fate. That's at the heart of everything when we say socialism within the context of Nigeria. And that also means that how an Oluwa glass will be run in Ondo State will be determined by the Ondo State people. Like how the Nigerian textile mill will be run in Kaduna or Kano State will be dependent on the people of those states, as the case may be. Socialism is not, in essence, asking for handout. Socialism is ensuring that the environment is sane and safe and no person's dignity is eroded. So when these people come at you, because I've heard some people, especially those who have PDP leaning, they're trying to bring everybody together and paint us with the same brush so that they can annihilate the good one alongside the bad one. No, APC is not a socialist party. APC is a confused party. And what you see in APC is an offshoot, is similar to what you will see in PDP. And like I also have said severally, if there is any group of people that should be fighting this first before people like us are talking, it should be the Nigerian Labour Congress. But they signed up for a party that was promoting ideas like APC and PDP. So the essence is already defeated. Any mention of anything that seems contradicting to this will look like, I don't want to say treason to the Nigerian state. It will look like you, right, are trying to undermine the state because you literally supported the same thing. So, I mean, handout is not socialism. Nobody is asking for handout in a socialist state. What they are asking for is an opportunity, right, to live, right? The kind of platform that will support them living, that will support everyone with dignity, that will ensure that everyone has a say, egalitarianism. We have said it one time now. So I'm tired of these Nigerian people. People who are saying those things are just trying to obfuscate facts. And what they are trying to do, in essence, like I said earlier, is to paint those who are advocating for a better standard of living for the Nigerian people as enemy of the Nigerian people. No, that's not the case. In this case, removing fuel subsidy and saying you don't care what people have to say, right, is the problem. Why? Because the people should decide their own fate and their direction. And mind you, they also admit, pardon, that it is corruption that is making fuel subsidy payment to keep going the way it was going. So the conversation is not like, okay, if it's corruption, why are you not tackling the corruption? But the fact of the case and why we are here today, which I would like to go back to, is that 8K, any 8K that they are trying to give out in this economy, that's about $10. It's not going to save anyone from poverty. Rather, it's going to give room for people, right, for their state to get worse. Because now what it means is that half of that money is not going to get to the Nigerian people. I say this authoritatively. When those money does not get to the Nigerian people, what happens next? You have wasted another set of resources. So it's just a vicious cycle of corruption, denial, gaslighting, and borrowing. You borrow again, you corruptly allocate it to yourself, give the house 70 billion, give somebody 30 billion, and then remain the remaining for the Nigerian people. And then the Nigerian people do not even get 30 or 40% of that amount. And then you go back again to borrow. Oh, I want to alleviate this concern. I want to alleviate this issue. Oh, I want to placate it. I want to do this. I want to do that. You are just stealing from the Nigerian people. There's nothing you are doing. And nobody needs to listen to those BS going forward. And that's why I would say the Nigerian people should think about rising up and be voting against this government. Not because of the person who is there, but because of the way things have been done over the years that has never worked for the Nigerian people. Right? And if you want to turn the direction, right? If you want to change course, right? One of the best things you do at times, especially for people who understand a little bit of business, is that you go in the route, or let me say on the route of employing a new captain. Oh, a new captain.
But Senator, it's like, sorry for interrupting you, but don't you feel like, okay, I don't know how to say this without being insensitive, but don't you feel like some of these things might help us to explain? Because, like, they say experience is the best teacher. If before and like now that Nigerians are experiencing some of these things, don't you think that we might just need to be patient to allow people learn?
When you say experience is the best teacher, you leave the fact that it's only a living person that will live to use the experience. And the people will say, when there is life, there is hope. But when the life is terminated, what would happen? People are dying. That's literally
people are dying. It's sad. It's really, really sad. It's really, really sad, my brother.
And when we say death, I think a lot of people need to also understand what death means, right? Some people are just walking around. They have no life in them again. Not because any village person is doing them, but because they cannot feed. They cannot determine their own line of action in the next minute. They cannot even decide who to vote for. When it's election, they only need 1,000 and their head will turn. Why? Because that 1,000 means a lot to them. Then it will now take us to the conversation of 8,000. That's why they are bringing those 8,000, because they paid 5,000 for some people's vote. And they think at this point, we're adding a kind of, let me say, 60% to that. Oh, you should be okay with that. Now, if we give you 5,000 for your vote anyways for 4 years. Or if we give you 8,000 for 1 month, you should be okay. Celebrating people's misery. So, let me put it this way by saying we have a lot of work to do. And anybody who is willing, especially this new administration, if they are willing to save the Nigerian people, return that subsidy. Ensure everybody who is corrupt, who has stolen subsidy money, is arrested and all of their properties forfeited to the Nigerian state. All those property, they become part of revenue to us, and we continue to move forward towards restoring the dignity of the Nigerian people. But see, if you actually are part of those people parroting those idea or narrative that the Nigerian state owes no responsibility to the Nigerian people in the sense of, because what I hear people say is, okay, just provide business environment, provide this, that, provide this. Nobody is saying provide good road. Of course, we can factor that under business environment. Nobody is saying whatsoever they have called subsidy is social security. Nobody is saying if you don't provide those social security, you might have to buy Super Tucano again in the next 5 years. Don't forget the story of that brother who said some people kidnapped his kid brother and they were demanding for 80K. When they negotiated, those guys collected 20K. It seemed to me like people who were just trying to get something to feed. I don't know, maybe this makes sense to you. So literally, if we do not want this evil to continue, there's a need to break it now. And it's either the new administration changes its course and do things that are more pro-masses, and progressive. We are not going anywhere. All of this policy, somersault will keep being the case. Remove subsidy, return palliative. I don't know what's subsidy. I don't know what's palliative. And I believe they have their audience though. But the point is, we need to hijack their audience from them and then make their audience progressive forces for the Nigerian state, because Nigeria needs saving. And we must do
their audience that's a keyboard. If you listen to some of these people, like I don't understand what many of these people say. Like, to be honest, I don't understand what they say. Like, the politics of like governance, it's not rocket science now. Like when they come and start, being so complex about the whole thing, it's not that complex. if you fix your refineries, again, like just in summary about this whole issue we're facing, if you fix our state-owned refineries, if you fix them, right, we're able to refine what we extract, that's crude oil. We're able to do it for ourselves, right? And then you fight corruption. You go to war with corruption in all of this, in the whole sector. You go to war with corruption. You are definitely going to end up with good results. You can't run away. How? Okay, now you want to do a giveaway to the nation now. This 500 billion, I can tell you, there are people that they are ready to take their own at whenever it reaches them, whether it's 1 billion that reaches them, they are ready to take their own out of it. And Sinoshaw, someone made a point, and I think I agree with that point. And the point was that, whenever they want to embezzle money, they start trying to do all of these social interventions. Because they know that, from that giveaway that's where they will be able to steal the money, because they don't know they're already telling us going to go to the poorest of the poor, people that don't have bank accounts, people that don't have OPay and all of these things. So we can't even track it at the end of the day. We can't be able to say, okay, let's request, that with the bank account numbers of the people that got the money is published. And I think that before, and it's also a way to get your people, your population on board, right? Like what you are the finance guy, so you know what I'm talking about. Get them to have bank accounts, because if you want to give anybody this money and we cannot track that person, when we are trying to get to the root of the matter, even though I don't subscribe to this because I know it's going to get lost in the process. But if you are actually going to give people money and these people don't have bank accounts and they just get this, everyone that is going to get 8K should have a bank account, should be banked. Because if you don't do that, at the end of the day, we cannot verify all of these things. So it's unfortunate that this guy is trying to make all these things like rocket science. And until Nigeria is ready to fight corruption, we'll keep on going from one problem to the other. The problem is corruption. If you don't face the problem and you're just trying to take Panadol for the headache instead of getting to the root cause of what is actually causing that problem, we are going to be here for a very long time. I feel sorry for the Nigerian people, but as you said, it's up to them to stand up. Halisa?
Yeah, so basically they say this is a short-term solution, but then it's like, okay, after the short term, what are you doing? If you say this is a solution for 3 months, after 3 months, what next? Put a deadline to stuff. Let's know what's about to happen. Even though it's not going to change much, I think that if I want to direct the thought or the line of request that citizens should make of the government, it should be clearer on the deadlines. Like, okay, you say this is a shock absorber, right? This is something you want to do because people would suffer so much. So let's quickly do this. Even though I'm not a big fan of it, okay. I think a lot of countries do these things actually. Normally, this is not even supposed to make the news. Like, you should just be able to collate like account details of people and just put money there because you are the government. It's not supposed to even be a huge news because bigger things are supposed to be happening. But since this is where we are at,
it's a big deal. Nigerians have never had anything from the government before, so it's a big deal.
Since this is where we are at, if you are someone that wants to like be an active citizen, let me slightly direct your line of questioning of the government, right? It should look like this. Okay, you're doing this for 3 months. What will then happen in November? If I put a date on it, on November 6th or something like that, when this money would stop coming into the account, what is this is short term, right? Is it medium term solution? What is the longer term solution? Because this is just something that would just come and then go, and everybody would just be like, okay, we're here. Even the people that will get it, which I don't think it will even do anything, like, which I believe it will not really impact anybody. And what about the other Nigerian people that are not the poorest of the poor, but are the poor? Because many people are in that bracket too. So what are those people that they don't deserve anything, So it is a very... Well, Nigerian government have decided to give money to some people, but yeah, that's where we're at. I'm so weak. Like, it's like a lost cause. Oh my God.
That's how I felt. As I felt yesterday. I was so sad and everything, But well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the Nigerian people will wake from their slumber. And that's the message.
Yeah.
This is not the message to go and destroy anything, but it is a message to take your country
Yeah,
back.
you deserve more as a Nigerian citizen. You actually deserve more. You're worthy of a lot. I think many people.
I don't sure that reminded me of sorry, they take your country back. It reminded me of somebody, but
No, because I think that many people forget, when you're in the struggle for survival, you don't really know. Like, it's like, I mean, I remember when let me not go into personal stories, but it's like when you are so desperate, you don't even know that you deserve more. You literally take anything. So, and you even say thank you, you grovel on the floor. So it's like you might forget, but you deserve more. And the thing is, you can, when you speak for people, for other people, other Nigerian people, you might be thinking, I think we've been so locked in this system that you have to fend for yourself. But sometimes when you don't speak for other people, you might not even you might even forget that you're not speaking for yourself. So you literally need to speak for other people to speak for yourself. So yeah, let's all rise up and speak more and ask more and demand more, because we're actually paying a lot more. Even if you don't earn that much money that they don't tax you, the opportunity cost, you're paying in one way or the other. As a Nigerian, you're paying, So yeah, I think we've done a lot on this conversation, and we'll wrap up here, right, you guys?
Yep.
I am
It's been a
completely
wonderful
fed up.
episode.
We can wrap up. I
Yeah.
am completely fed up.
No, don't be fed
All
up.
right.
Don't be fed up. You gotta stay strong,
Thanks
comrade.
for joining us
Stay
today.
strong, comrade.
Follow us, get notified on our new episode, and we'll see you next time.
You're listening to the Out of the Box podcast with Timmy, Halisa, and Sinosure.